From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, July 27th, 2016. Silver is trading at $19.70 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,324 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $657. Antiwar.com reports following previous reports that they have credible evidence of Turkey torturing post-coup detainees. Amnesty International is doubling down on their concern, calling for an immediate halt to all mistreatment of what is now in excess of 10,000 people arrested over the coup attempt. The imposition of a state of emergency across Turkey has added to the concern, as it allows President Erdogan to extend the detention without charges period from 4 days to 30 days. This is greatly increasing the risk of those detainees being tortured. Turkish prisons have a spotty human rights record in the first place, and since the coup, a lot of the detainees aren't even being held in formal prisons, but rather in makeshift detention centers set up after the failed coup, with images repeatedly showing large numbers of bound men sitting on the floor of a single room surrounded by guards. Lawyers have reported seeing detainees brought in to be interrogated by prosecutors already covered in blood, with reports that a number of detainees have been raped in custody as part of the increasingly violent effort to get people to talk. If you're fed up with the government running every aspect of your life, but you're not listening to the Lava Flow podcast yet, what's wrong with you? Go right now to thelavaflow.com/listen. The Lava Flow podcast, channeling the flow of information to the libertarian, anarcho-capitalist, voluntarist, and agorist community. Subscribe today using any podcatcher at thelavaflow.com/listen, or just go back to sucking up to the government. The Lava Flow podcast, striking the root every episode. UPI reports after running through all 57 voting states and territories, Senator Bernie Sanders stepped forward Tuesday to motion that Democrats set aside their delegate counts and move past a divisive primary campaign, nominating by acclamation Hillary Clinton as the party's candidate for the President of the United States. The DNC roll call vote Tuesday was unusual in its choreography, where normally the winning candidate seeks a strategic, symbolic, or personally meaningful delegation to put them over the top, and other delegations accede to the nominee's wishes. Clinton received the 2,382 votes needed, as determined simply by alphabetic order, when South Dakota's delegation took its turn. Vermont, Sanders' home state, allowed itself to be skipped in order to vote last. After all the delegates cast their votes, 2,838 for Clinton, 1,843 for Sanders, and 55 abstentions, Sanders motioned to the chair to set aside the delegate totals and enable Clinton to be named the party's nominee by acclamation, the parliamentary equivalent of unanimous consent. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports the U.S. Food and Drug Administration opened the door on Tuesday to a change in its blood donor deferral recommendations, which currently prohibit donations from gay men for a year following their last sexual encounter, in order to reduce the risk of transmitting HIV, the virus that causes AIDS. In December, the FDA overturned a 30-year ban on all blood donations from men who have had sex with other men, saying the change was based on science showing an indefinite ban was not necessary to prevent the transmission of HIV. The FDA is now signaling it may go further. Gay rights advocates say the latest update did not go far enough, and that the agency's recommendations should move closer to individual risk assessment, which could, for example, look at whether an individual has been in a monogamous relationship. Their criticism intensified in the wake of a mass shooting at a gay nightclub in Orlando, Florida in June, which saw many gay men unable to donate blood, even as blood banks put out calls for donors. In a notice posted to the Federal Register, the FDA said it was enabling a public docket for comment about its current recommendations, and that interested people should submit comments backed by scientific evidence supporting alternative potential policies to reduce the risk of HIV transmission. Such suggestions could include the feasibility of moving from the existing one-time-based deferrals related to risk behavior to alternative deferral options, such as the use of individual risk assessments. The agency said it would take the comments into account as it continues to reevaluate and update blood donor deferral policies as new scientific information becomes available. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.